All right, guys, we have got to talk about this Republican Civil War because if I'm being honest with you, it just went absolutely nuclear. It just went atomic. As you all know, Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show. That was sort of the genesis of Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro reacting to this. And Mark Levin decided to go right for the jugular of Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, who he calls Little Adolf. And Ben Shapiro did the exact same thing. He did a 40-minute video going after Tucker directly and going after Nick Fuentes directly, and basically saying, like, asserting your flavor and variety of conservatism is evil and bad and wrong. It's basically Nazi shit. My brand of conservatism is old school, traditional, principled conservatism. I'm right, you're wrong. And so it was an attempt to take these people down. And look, Ben Shapiro's video, a lot of it was, if I'm being honest with you, correct. Like he played a lot of clips of Nick Fuentes that are just absolutely, I mean, there's no words for them. It's just despicable and disgusting and wrong and disturbing even. Because it's clips of him saying, like, how much he admires Hitler and that Hitler was really cool, and it's clips of him doing straight-up Holocaust denial, and it's clips of him talking about how we need to have Catholic Taliban rule in this country, and women should have no rights whatsoever, and we should go back to the Middle Ages, and it's clips that we've played on this show. You know, I play that clip all the time. Funny enough, Ben Shapiro didn't play this one, but it was a clip of Nick Fuentes saying, I hate the poor and I love the rich. That happens to be a sentiment Shapiro agrees with. It's a common conservative sentiment. So we didn't play that clip. But that's Nick Fuentes when he was more mask off. These days, he tries to reel it in a little bit, and he literally tells his audience to hide their power level. But back then, he would tell the truth more about what he actually believes, and he is a fucking Nazi. So a lot of the video from Shapiro was just correct. Now, having said that, that's not even Shapiro's real issue with Tucker and Fuentes. His real issue with them is they're anti-Israel, and that's what he doesn't like. Because we know when Candace was flirting with Nazism, she was still welcomed on the Daily Wire. She only got the boot when she started criticizing Israel directly. And so that's the actual breakdown here. That's the actual, like, operative factor in what Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro were doing. They're going, these guys are anti-Israel. We want to make sure young Republicans are pro-Israel. So they're trying desperately to, like, wrestle the narrative back from them and to, like, recapture the heart of young Republicans. Because if young Republicans stay anti-Israel and get more anti-Israel, then Israel in the long run is cooked. They will stop getting any support from America. No more money, no more weapons. Because Democratic voters, all of them are anti-Israel at this point, virtually. And older Republicans are pro-Israel, but when they die off, the young Republicans right now are like 55% anti-Israel. So to them, it's like existential from the perspective of being pro-Israel. So having said that, now let me walk you through some of this. So they did a New York Times article on Fuentes, which, by the way, let me just say again, it is astonishing to me how often far-right figures get, like, glossy profiles, whereas, like, actual left-wing figures, like Hassan did have a profile to be fair, but it was in, like, the arts section or some shit, right? Fuentes, it isn't in the art section. So it's kind of weird how left-wing figures never get this sort of, like, glossy, glowing profile. But, like, Richard Spencer got one back in the day when he was the head of the alt-right. And Nick Fuentes got one now. And they literally use, like, the best picture ever taken of Nick Fuentes here. This is, like, the best picture I've ever seen of Nick Fuentes. And this is what they use. This is, like some low-key psychological warfare shit where people look at this and just based off the fact that he looks cool, they're going to go, oh, he's cool, right? So... really weird, really fucking scummy, if I'm being honest with you. But in this piece, it's kind of crazy because they admit that somebody who knows, somebody who's an insider, says that 30 to 40% of young Republican DC staffers, the ones that are 30 and under, they're groypers. So, like, 30 to 40% are groypers. They follow a fucking Nazi. And it's not like the rest of them are anti-groyper. They're just more likely to sugarcoat their shit and say, we're defending heritage Americans, as opposed to just saying we're defending white Americans. So, like, there's a literal fucking Nazi problem in the Republican Party. You understand? Like, it's just clear as day. The other day, Shapiro recorded that 40-minute video trying to take down Tucker, trying to take down Fuentes, and then he tweeted, no to the groypers, no to cowards like Tucker Carlson who normalize their trash, no to those who champion them, no to demoralization, no to bigotry, anti-meritocratic horseshit. And he went on, and then Fuentes chimes in, no to Ben Shapiro, no to the neocons, no to dual citizens, no to Benjamin Netanyahu, no to cancel culture, no to genocide and ethnic cleansing, no to the Christ-hating Talmud, no to greater Israel, no to our Jewish oligarchy, America first, America forever. And so as Will Stancil says here, hey, maybe now that we've reached the point that a neo-Nazi saying no to our Jewish oligarchy goes explosively viral on this website, the mainstream media can talk about how Elon Musk has turned this place into a Nazi radicalization hub. Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, as I said in my previous segment on this, what you guys need to understand, if you're a left-winger, as most of you are, and you're watching this, what you need to understand is you don't have to pick a side, because both sides are evil, and both sides are bad, and both sides are wrong, and both sides are immoral, just in different ways. So you have Shapiro and Levin are correct that Hitler was bad and wrong. But they also support modern-day Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, right? Whereas Fuentes is correct to say Netanyahu is bad and wrong, but he's wrong to admire Hitler and like Hitler and support Hitler. So it's like your options are the old school GOP, which supports the new genocide, or the new school GOP, which supports the old genocide, Hitler's genocide. So it's like both sides are pro-genocide just in different ways. They both support different versions of Hitler. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now let's get to Nick Fuentes basically responding to Ben Shapiro and just absolutely going ham. Let's watch.
And then we'll talk about Ben Shapiro's video about me this afternoon. And if you know anything about my feud with Ben Shapiro, it's really interesting the way they operate, the way that Ben Shapiro operates. If you know anything about this feud, you know what I'm talking about. For the last 10 years, Ben Shapiro has pretended like I don't exist. Nick Fuentes, who? Even if you ask him directly about me, he won't utter my name. It's like my name itself is a curse. It's like the words Nick Fuentes are not able to be spoken aloud. That's how he is. He literally will not say my name. But today, it was a clip show. Today, it was like a full-fledged Fuentes Updates clip show. It was like America's Funniest Videos. One clip after the other. 40 minutes, no ads. That's how you know they mean business. When Ben Shapiro turns down the money from the advertisers, when Ben Shapiro doesn't do, let's say, 50 ad reads in a 50-minute video, that's how you know they mean business. He will literally do an ad read at a pro-life march in person. He will give a speech in real life at a pro-life march about abortion, and he will stop and do an ad read for ZipRecruiter. But when you're talking about anti-Semitism, there's simply no time. There's no time. We mean business, because this is something we really care about. No ads. 40-minute video, and about 50% of it was just my clips. Fuentes says, Fuentes that, he's a Nazi, sexist, Holocaust denier. Whoa, you're sounding like, you're giving me like Bill Maher or Rachel Maddow. What is this?
This is going to be catnip to right-wingers, and they're going to fucking eat this up, and they're going to love this. He's doing the like, I'm more of a pure right-winger than you, and you actually, turns out, you're kind of a lefty and a liberal because you tried to cancel me. So the right-wingers are going to eat it up, but at the same time, this is also just total fucking horseshit. Because, yeah, if you're pro-Hitler, that should be beyond the pale. Right? Like, there's literal video of him saying, I love Hitler, and Hitler's really fucking cool. So, like, yeah, playing that clip and pointing at it and going, this is bad, you could call that an attempt to cancel you, but he did make clear in that video he's not trying to deplatform you. He's just trying to expose what your beliefs are, but in your own words. So, like, this is sort of a weak-ass bullshit reaction, but it's only a weak-ass bullshit reaction if you're thinking rationally and logically. And the right-wingers are not going to see this rationally and logically. They're just going to think, oh, an epic burn, bro. He just said he was like Rachel Maddow and that he's, like, canceling like a SJW, bro. So, Shapiro, it's sort of like the chickens are coming home to roost to Shapiro because all these bullshit arguments that he used on other people, now they're coming back to bite him in the ass. It's the same arguments that he used and to like make misleading points against liberals and lefties, and now they're coming back to bite him in the ass. So, I mean, he really helped make this bed. Now he's going to fucking sleep in it. Because Shapiro wanted to create a Republican Party that's like hateful against brown people, hateful against black people, hateful against women, hateful against gays and trans people. But he wanted to like carve out, like, but do not be hateful against Jews. But if you're pointing in the direction of hate and you're cherry picking, eventually somebody's going to come along and say, I'm not going to cherry pick. I'm going to hate equally across the board, all these different groups. And so it's kind of crazy now to like swoop in and pretend like, oh, this is hateful. Like, yeah, and your whole career is based on that. They just took it one step further. They just added one extra group to the hate.
Shapiro was against SJWs. Now he sounds like one of them. I thought he was against liberal tears and cancel culture and safe spaces. Now you sound like one of them. So first Nick Fuentes said a sexist thing, then he said a racist thing, then he said a Nazi thing and an anti-Semitic thing. He's a white supremacist. It's Hillary Clinton. Racist, sexist, homophobic. It's literally the basket of deplorables clip. And so we'll talk about his little response. And I say little because he doesn't get views anymore. It's pathetic. Candace Owens is doing 10 times. What does she get? 2-3 million views on a video? He's lucky to crack 500,000. And he's on YouTube.
He doesn't even crack 500,000 with most of his videos. He's less than 100K these days.
Dude, he's got millions of subscribers.
So as you can tell, you can already tell from the vibe of this, this is not going to go well for Shapiro. It's just not. But by the way, again, I want to reiterate, Shapiro is correct that Fuentes is saying over the top, racist, sexist, bigoted, xenophobic, homophobic, anti-Semitic things. But and Fuentes is kind of deflecting here, but bro, just own it. Just be like, yeah, we are those things and we support those things and I'll argue in favor of those. Like, say that. But no, it's a little bit of a dishonest, you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of Weasley to act like, oh, you just are a crazy lefty canceling me. Like, no, actually, yes, I admire Hitler and here's why. Like, now all of a sudden, there is no robust defense of Hitler. Weird, why? All right, more, here we go. This is the part where he goes after Mark Levin.
I'm furious. I'm absolutely beside myself and furious. The way Mark Levin talks about this country, he should be deported. Not because you're Jewish, not because you're fat, not because you're gay, not because you're a pussy. Mark Levin should be deported because of the way he talks about this country. Where does he get off?
He's stealing my bit here. It's kind of fucked up. I've talked about how, like, Randy Fine should be deported. I've talked about how these right-wing pricks should be deported. Why are you stealing my bit, bro?
The way he says, it's only off the table if we say so. Who the fuck do you think you are? You whiny, grating, odious, disgusting, fat piece of shit traitor. Where do you get off? Damn you. And I apologize for that. As a Christian, we shouldn't curse people, but
come on. What are you doing?
Seriously, damn you. How dare you say that? This is the United States of America. He says, little Adolf, who were his ancestors? You know who my ancestors were? Joe Cairo, okay? When my ancestors got here, they kissed the ground when they got off the fucking boat.
Don't do this stupid, I'm more American than you. Don't do that shit. When you support Hitler, Hitler's responsible for what? 400,000 dead Americans? And now you're fucking... It's like when conservatives pretend like they're the most patriotic, but they'll fly the fucking Confederate flag, which is the literal flag of the people that seceded because they were anti-America. Like, what are you... Don't do that. This is the sort of bullshit I hate. This is like cheap. It's cheap to just do the fucking empty posturing. It's like, well, I'm the most pro-America. Like, what is that? Come on, man.
And they served in the military and they built this city. They built Chicago. And they love this country. They always have. They're all patriots. They love our country's God, Jesus Christ. They love this country. Who the fuck are you?
We don't have a fucking... This country's God? We don't have... This is a secular country. There's a separation of church and state. A majority of people happen to be Christian, but this is a secular government. Oh, my God.
And why are you here? You love Israel so much. It's not purely about Israel or the Jews. Why are you still here, fatso? Why are you and Randy Fine still here? Need more money, you fucking pissant? Need more money? Need more Americans to bleed for your wars? Need more money to go and kill children?
You were just saying you want to go to war with Venezuela yesterday. Screaming at Mark Levin for being a warmonger. You're a warmonger too. You guys just want different wars. He wants to topple the regime in Iran and do regime change there. You want to topple the regime in Venezuela and do it there. Like, what is this? What? Jesus.
More bullets to shoot innocent people in the back of the head, you fucking coward. And then they try to gaslight us into thinking we're evil. We're not evil. There's a difference.
If you support Hitler, you're evil. I mean, that should be fucking obvious.
We're self-righteous. This is not anger. This is not evil. This is righteous indignation. This is moral clarity. This is the courage of our convictions. This is righteous indignation of a righteous people. These are the just and reasonable demands of a righteous people. We want our independence. We want our sovereignty. We want a nation under God, the one that we were promised. And we're done being bossed around and abused and insulted and humiliated by these sick people that hate us. Sick people that say we're going to kill 2 million people in Gaza. These sick, arrogant people that have contempt and disdain for the people that they want to exploit for their own interests. That's wrong. That attitude, those ideas, that mindset is wrong. You're wrong for having it, and you should have no influence and no power over us. So anyway, it's sick.
He's not done. He kept going. So here he challenges Ben Shapiro to a debate.
Groyper Bono 07 cent $50. Hey Ben, keep Nick Fuentes name out your mouth. You're irrelevant now. Love you Nick less than 3.
Well, and he should debate me. If he feels so strongly, then debate me. He won't. He knows he won't. You know he won't. I know he won't. Come and debate me then. I have 55,000 live viewers. How many live viewers do you get? He knows that if he debates me, it'll be the most watched debate in politics in 10 years. It'll be bigger than the Trump-Biden debate. It'll be the most watched debate since Trump debated Hillary Clinton. He knows he will lose. He knows that everyone will rally to my side, and he knows that Israel first is over. That's why he'll never do it. But the offer stands. You want to play my clips, call me out. You want to hide. I'm right here. I'm right here. I will debate you anytime, anywhere. Bring it on. You won't. You're a bitch. You would lose. You know that. Keep talking. Until then, keep talking.
Here, he decides to go after Matt Walsh. Now, Matt Walsh, of course, works for the Daily Wire, and he's been in a bit of a weird position because he is doing this whole, like, I believe in unity. I don't believe in punching inside the tent. So, like, as long as the left is your number one enemy, then I'm on your team. And then you have Ben Shapiro, who's like, hey, man, sort of fuck you because now there's Nazis in here and Nazis want to kill me. So what the fuck is wrong with you? No, you got to stand up and say the Nazis are bad and wrong. And so he's caught in the middle, and now he's also going to get it from Fuentes, too. Watch.
I have just about had it with Matt Walsh. Matt, you work for this fucking guy. Whose side are you on already? Cut the shit. Matt Walsh, every day on his show, he goes on Twitter in his show and says, this is all just gossip and drama. It ain't gossip and drama. This is the war. Might not be the one you wanted, but this is the one that's going on. So Walsh wants to recuse himself from this and say, hey, man, I just care about America. Hey, fucker, it's happening in America right now. Tucker's an American, last I checked. This is going on here. We didn't make anti-Semitism the wedge issue. They did. We didn't make fighting Israel's wars the wedge issue. They did. And Walsh wants to get on Twitter and say, I just don't want to talk about it. I just want to keep taking a paycheck from the worst of the worst, Shapiro. You got to pick a side, and nobody can let him get away with this. As long as you're America first, you need to be in his reply saying, no, Matt, you work for Ben Shapiro, cuck. I don't know how he looks his sons in the eyes. He's got 4 sons. How do you look them in the eyes? Ben Shapiro signs your paycheck that pays for the roof over their head. And the guy, it couldn't be more obvious that this guy holds America in disdain. He says, the existence of Israel guarantees my loyalty to America. How do you look your kids in the eyes? They make jokes about Catholics being gay. They make jokes about the Vatican being filled.
Now jokes go too far, Nick. I know what he's talking about. There was like a Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Ben Shapiro conversation, and in that, Ben Shapiro and like Andrew Klavan or whoever made a joke about how all the Catholic priests are fucking pedophiles. But that's true. It's true, and it's also a funny joke to point it out. But all of a sudden now, Mr. I love Hitler, I admire Hitler will joke about fucking anything. Oh, you made fun of the Catholics. How dare you? What is this?
Pedophiles, you sit there and have to laugh and grin like an idiot. How do you look your sons in the eyes? How do you look them in the face at night when you tuck them in? Really? It's enough. Enough is enough. They're taking names. We need to take names as well. Not just on their side, but our side too. These cowards. They're working for the enemy, literally. We're being dispossessed of our country in more ways than one, buddy. It's not just immigration. It's not just immigration that's taking our sovereignty. It's their political control too. You don't seem to be interested in that. Why is that? It's got to stop. How can this go on? Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles. It's not funny anymore. You people are pathetic. You disgust me. You could change it. If Matt Walsh and Knowles left Daily Wire, the whole thing would come crumbling down. All it would take is courage. Or they're brainwashed. I don't know. But somebody needs to burst their bubble. And that's not an oblique reference to violence. I mean, people need to tell them, we're not going to swallow that shit anymore. They need to make a move.
So now both of them are getting it from the Groypers. And like Michael Knowles was at an event the other day and he was answering questions. And basically one of the questions was exactly what Fuentes is getting at here. Like, how could you work for the Daily Wire, basically? And he goes on this long thing about, unity and how we all need to work together if we're Republicans and the left are the real enemies and yada, yada. And they're just not buying it anymore. Now, here is Nick Fuentes talking about how he's got J.D. Vance in the Groyper squeeze, I believe he calls it. Watch.
He's getting squeezed. Because the Groypers are on the one hand saying, hey, listen, fat boy, we want America first. You want to run for president? We want to hear you say America first. And on the other side, he's got his donors, and they're saying they're horrible anti-Semites. You have to disavow them. You have to forcefully condemn them. Condemn Tucker. Condemn the Groypers. Now, if Vance condemns the Groypers, we are deploying to Iowa. Raise your right hand. I swear I'm going to move to Iowa and New Hampshire and Nevada and South Carolina and one primary after the next. And we will go to every town hall. We will go to every meet and greet where there's 4 or 5 people, and we will be there. And we'll do it for free. People will drive there for free, and they will follow Vance around and ask him, when will you put America first? Why would you condemn the young white men of America and sell out to our elites? We'll be there. We'll be in Iowa. We'll be in every primary and caucus state. So he doesn't want to condemn the Groypers.
He's right that he's got the Republicans in a vice grip. And somebody made a good point on Twitter. They said the Groypers are to MAGA what MAGA was to the Bush Republicans. When Trump was rising in 2015 and 2016, every time they thought, oh, we got some shit that's going to take down Trump, it didn't. It made him stronger. And right now, the same thing is happening, where MAGA goes after the Groypers, and somehow the Groypers get stronger. I mean, he destroyed Ted Cruz the other day online. Now, to be fair, this all for the moment, it's all online, that the Groypers are getting W's. But the right is very plugged in, and I feel like they respond to that online pressure quickly, which is why so many of these people have fucking cowered in fear to Fuentes. I mean, that's honestly why Tucker had on Fuentes, is because he's scared of him. He's scared of his audience. He doesn't want to fucking piss them off. And so you're going to see that with politicians too. And here he is bragging that, I got you, J.D. Vance. You can't fucking denounce us, because we'll tank your chances of being president if you do fucking denounce us. And maybe he has 100,000 hardcore followers, but yes, 100,000 hardcore followers, some of them on the ground in Iowa and New Hampshire, fucking making your life a living hell by asking you questions at town hall events and shit and having you on the back foot, having you on the defense. That's fucking, that would suck. That would suck. And J.D. Vance is being a little bitch, and he's saying, basically, I'm not going to condemn any of these people. So just really incredible stuff. Another example of this. So Spencer Hakimian pointed this out. He said that Byron Donalds, who's a Republican running for governor of Florida, condemned anti-Semitism, and then Fuentes ratioed him literally within 1 minute. Our party has always stood for the Constitution, civil rights, free speech, freedom of religion, and limited government. We will never stand for the twisted ideology of Marxism, totalitarianism, bigotry, and anti-Semitism. We will not stand idly by as our Jewish neighbors are demonized. And you can see in the background, this was at the Republican Jewish Coalition. He gave a speech there, and Fuentes responded and said, "Good boy," and literally within a minute, ratioed him. Within a fucking minute, bro. He right now has the power in that party, and they know it. And the problem is, like I said, the entire Republican base for so long, like the crux of that party is hate. Like, it's hate, it's bigotry, it's division. It's like, scapegoating minorities and saying they're bad. And all Nick Fuentes did is he took it one minority further, all right? That's it. All he did was go one minority further. I also hate Jews. Whereas if the other Republicans are going, no, you could hate black people, you could hate brown people, you could hate women, you could hate trans people, you could hate gay people. Don't hate the Jews. And he goes, no, I'm going to go all the way. And so that's a more pure form of that politics. And it's more coherent in a sense. And so all these standard Republicans help make the bed, and now they're going to fucking sleep in it because Fuentes is on the rise. And then the final thing, as I pointed out before, really, bro, the big issue and why Ben Shapiro is coming after him, again, is because of Israel. And it's the same reason why Mark Levin is doing it. They would overlook the Hitler stuff if Ben Shapiro supported Israel, because they've done it in the past. You could be like outright anti-Semitic like Elon Musk, but if you bend the knee to Israel, you're their ally. That's fine. So to them, the real thing that's unacceptable is being anti-Israel. So, but as I said, you do not have to fucking hand it to any of them. You don't have to do it. You don't have to hand it to any of them, because you have Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin support modern day Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Nick Fuentes supports old school Hitler, and is against Netanyahu. So which is it? Which Republican Party flavor would you like? The one that's against the old Holocaust, or the one that's against the one that's for the old Holocaust, or the one that's for the new Holocaust? But you can't have, none of the options are just anti-Holocaust. None of the options are just anti-genocide. And there's a lot of hate with both options, but one just happens to go one step further to add Jew hatred to all the other kinds of hatred. So it truly is the implosion of the Republican Party. It truly is collapsing. And this also is only able to happen because MAGA is failing, because prices are going up, because unemployment is going up, because Trump is bombing all these different countries. He's the most corrupt president we've ever seen, ever by far, and it's not even close. He's not releasing the Epstein files. You got all these things that have built up, and so everybody knows, everybody's pissed at Trump, everybody hates him. The country's like turning away, and so now you have people vying for the crown of MAGA, vying for what the future will be, and that's why this is all coming to a head now. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.